This is going to be a short, biased view of the QAnon meme. Not a conservative, if you're curious, but more importantly, I look at any cult-like or religious group of people as a group of people who have a belief system, and I analyze rather simply what it comes from, who it comes from, and why it becomes so pervasive. And I find that there's a specific type of mindset that makes an idea impossible to destroy in a person when it is found to be objectively wrong. Now, this can include belief in perpetual motion machines, the rapture, anything. You will have people spending, by my count, a specific individual, 4 decades predicting the rapture and being wrong for 4 decades, and people still looking up to this person and them still getting donation money every single day. Not because they're telling you the truth, but because they keep saying what you want to hear, you give them money. QAnon's political and medical disinformation messaging is also laced with religious allegory, prophecies, puzzle solving, and an emboldening sense of belonging to the right side of an epic battle of good versus evil, the storm, a rapture-like new beginning for the world where believers' faith is recognized and rewarded. You're not told you're stupid for believing in something high-minded and good, or as I would say, demanding that you have the right to control half the population in this country and make it to where we don't have a voice. You see, there's the good side that people say they're doing, but their necessity of evil is to do literally as much harm as possible to one side of the population in the United States. And I'm interjecting here. This is actually someone else's quotes here. I'm saying that their attitude is to do good, they must harm half the population and beat them into submission. This is an extremely common behavior problem that you find in people in general. Every one of you knows somebody like this, where they soften their ego being damaged by the fact that they're basically turning into Adolf Hitler. And that's not a bad comparison. The actual statements, if you look up Adolf Hitler's bullshit, if you look up his personal notes, Mein Kampf and all of that, is they really believe that you must do a lot of evil things in order to make everything better in the long run. A necessary evil. A pious lie. All of these things all have the same thing. Lying and doing bad things because you think a good thing will come of it, but you're not really sure, but you don't care because underneath that skin, that veneer of holier than thou-ness, you just want revenge against the world because you got told in high school that you did the math wrong for a flat earth equation you created. Or the math wrong for your perpetual motion machine, Hope Girl. Or in her case, 2 circuit diagram errors that could be easily fixed if she just moved a wire over here because it caused 2 problems at once. But no, no, no. Don't just take some criticism or just correct an error on a fucking diagram. Start talking shit about me and trying to get away with it. So anyway, let's move on. Perpetually imminent arrest of tens of thousands of enemy American politicians or popular people. That never happens because somehow the deep state is so deep that facts don't work. Meanwhile, you can find a shit ton of examples of very, very powerful, rich, and famous people being found out to have committed some crime and get punished for it. You can also find examples of them not. But the accusation doesn't get buried because it gets brought up. I just did a whole sequence of data on Feinstein. This isn't a popular meme, but there's somebody promoting this as a reactionary statement that Dianne Feinstein has been arrested for something, but all they're doing is reporting shit from literally May of last year that didn't result in her being arrested. There wasn't enough evidence to indict or convict anybody. There's no secret indictment. She's not wearing an ankle bracelet. None of the memes are true about that. But someone isn't getting anywhere with it because they're too busy screaming about something else. But let's go on to the other one. Where did Q come from? Now, I've made the statement in the past, half jokingly, but only half, that this is based on the persona of Q from Star Trek. But this is actually more likely. And this has to do with one of the habits people do in politics. Liberals will emulate conservative tactics and vice versa. Luther Blissett is a persona that was used to publish a 1999 novel, Q. This was later used in the 1990s to organize pranks, media stunts, and hoaxes. Primarily by the left, but it was a shorthand word, literally a letter, for that sort of thing. Please look up when Star Trek Next Generation and Q occurred, by the way. The Trickster, Loki. Anyway, Q clearance, Patriot, which Q clearance, if you're not aware of it, is just a clearance of a particular job type. It's a need-to-know basis thing. It has nothing to do with having superior access to the inner workings of the government. Q clearance Patriot, aka Q or QAnon, because it was mostly started on the anonymous image board 4chan, then later 8chan, and then its October surprise 2019 successor 8kun. That one shared the same IP address with QMAP and was owned by the same person and run by the same person. So QMAP is run by the same person who runs 8kun, who also was involved in running 8chan. And the same content delivery network, CDN, shared with Daily Stormer. Yes, the neo-Nazi website. The ownership of 8chan and financial interests in Disarm the Deep State, QAnon Super PAC, that advertises on 8chan, peddles QAnon books, videos, pins, t-shirts, those t-shirts you saw, and other merchandise online. It's a closed ecosystem for the purpose of making money. Create the conspiracy theories, post them on your own boards, plural, move away from boards that argue with you or get shut down, create new ones, and keep promoting stuff. And somehow, and this is important if you're the admin, being able to transport the trip code from one website to another requires the administrator, owner of the board, to do this. But let's look at some suspicious thing. 4chan moderator Coleman Rogers logged in as Q on 8chan during a Patriot Soapbox live stream, and it's under an archive. Or was it? Well, it was at one time. It was seen, screenshotted, etc. And it may still exist. I'm sure someone's gone out of their way to get rid of it. There's also a New Jersey IT expert, Jason Galanis, who denies any contact with it. Should we start traipsing through the networks? See also that most of the stuff can be anonymized. Pun intended, and not. Then we get James Arthur Watkins and his son Ronald Watkins. Everybody who does a story on this refers to both of them under the group name Watkins, and never specifies which one of the two, or says the elder or the younger and gets the names mixed up. So I'm not going to specify which one of these I'm talking about, or even if I'm talking about them, because I'm not getting sued. Someone got sued by this person, one of these people, in the Philippines because the rules are so loose that it drove the guy out of the country. So the person did the same thing back at him. Let's watch. October 2001, after September 11, just after September 11. One of the Watkins moved to the Philippines pig farm, south of Manila. Now a deplorable, undesirable alien with a history of hosting Asian pornography to originally start his business while he was still in the military right after taking a class on how to do computer work, looking for loopholes to make money. No, that's really what happened. But anyway, 2020, June, his Philippine pig farm was sold. Then from Pasig City, Manila, in August 27th, he sought authorization to return to the U.S. till January 31st of this year. He left September 4th, 2020. But he might have had a layover. Hope he didn't hijack the plane. Anyway, he left the Philippines for the USA and must return by the 31st of this year, or be placed on a blacklist and barred from re-entry in the Philippines, because apparently his wife went around to every official complaining about him running these chans that kept causing political unrest in other countries, which is something that in the Philippines can be considered bad. Also, maybe that these might have hosted anti-Duarte image boards, and maybe it would be, if he was a good thing if he wasn't hosting it out of the Philippines, some of the boards. So anyway, let's talk about Frederick Brennan, who left 8chan over the San Diego Synagogue, El Paso, Texas, Walmart, and the New Zealand mosque mass shootings perpetrated by alleged 8chan users, and increasingly violent and subversive content on the boards. He got sick of it. He also started warning people that they needed to shut down the boards because it was becoming a festering cesspit. Some statements from him. QAnon followers believe the second term for Donald Trump will trigger the storm, followed by the Great Awakening. But when it fails, this is a prediction he made September 22nd, 2020. But when it fails, 99% of them can come up with a new narrative and still think Q is true somehow. Because it's very Nostradamus-like and you can just reread it and give it another meaning. Quatrains from hell. For many of them, Trump is a god. That's why I call him God Emperor Trump. This is the assertion and the attitude they carry. They don't say it in name, but they mean it. They literally treat him as Jesus. But if Trump was to lose, their God has essentially been crucified. He is their Jesus. The second coming Jesus or the Antichrist. They're going to view it as the deep state winning. They're going to, quote, punish the other side with political violence, specifically the Democrats, but anyone else in their path is also stated later. That was a September 22nd, 2020 prediction. And again, the numerological stuff some of you are triggering on. January 31st is when one of the people running this whole mess, and is probably the person who is literally QAnon. It's actually a group of 4 or 5 people, possibly 4, just 4, really. But it could be up to 5. But it's probably almost absolutely because of the power given to this person and the money coming back in merchandise and a super PAC run by one of them specifically. James Arthur Watkins or his son Ronald are the persons running this. Currently in the United States, someplace unknown location. Persona non grata. Clamato. And Patriot Soapbox live stream archives showing Coleman Rogers being able to log in as Q. This is all 4chan, 8chan, a super PAC giving itself some sort of uber wonderful name. And connections literally with the Daily Stormer and all of this other shit. All of this being able to be found by IT geeks over time. Most of this is all missing because a lot of these records have been purged. Some of the IT people didn't know that you could use an archiver to grab who has records to confirm all of this. Digging it up has been a pain in the ass. I did it once before and found this myself, but honestly I'm tired of bringing this up. What does this all mean? Not a damn thing. It's somebody telling stories to himself like a sock puppet on his own controlled opposition open hangout websites. And when he couldn't have complete control of it on 4chan because they just banned his ass, he created another one, or was part of it existing. And then when that was shot down, he created another one to sell t-shirts, to get PAC money. Started off doing quatrains like Nostradamus, getting people to read into it what they wanted to, watching the feedback and reinterpreting it back to them. Dog fooding them, feeding them their own product. We call it dog fooding instead of bullshitting, I guess. Making sure that this cold reading project would completely enthrall everybody. It's not that difficult. It's all fan service. He knows a lot about that. He originally put up Asian market porn sites because they're banned in their own countries, but not banned if they're in another. Uncensored porn, the forbidden fruit caker. This is the starting point for all of this. This is a person who knows how to manipulate a group of people and make money, or group of them. But now we have people literally willing to shoot people over fake stories of baby-eating gay frog aliens. And somehow, they all justify wanting to literally murder about half the population of this country to purge. But it's not them being evil. No. It's all Democrats are murderers and bastards now. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And yes, y'all needed a refresher course on this, and so did I.